What if the happiest day of your life is not behind you, but it is waiting for you tomorrow morning, the moment you open your eyes and make one single powerful decision? What if happiness was never about money, never about success, never about what other people gave you or took away from you, but it was always, always about something sitting quietly inside you, something you have been ignoring for years? What if I told you that the most miserable people on this earth are not the ones who have lost everything, but the ones who never learned the secret of controlling their own mind? Right now, somewhere in this world, a person with almost nothing is waking up with a smile so wide it could light up a room. And somewhere else, a person with every luxury imaginable is waking up feeling completely empty inside. Why does that happen? What do some people know that others do not? Stay with me until the very end of this video, because I am about to hand you something that most people go their entire lives without ever discovering. The secret to being genuinely, powerfully, unshakably happy every single day, no matter what life throws at you. What if the entire story you have been telling yourself about why you cannot be happy right now is completely, totally, and absolutely wrong? What if the circumstances around you, the people who hurt you, the opportunities you missed, the money you do not have, the relationships that fell apart, what if none of that actually has the power to steal your happiness unless you personally hand it over? This is not a comfortable idea. It is not easy to hear, but it is one of the most liberating truths a human being can ever encounter. And today, I want to walk you through it with every ounce of clarity and conviction I have. Let us begin at the very foundation. Happiness is not a feeling that arrives when conditions are perfect. If you are sitting around waiting for your bank account to reach a certain number, waiting for a certain person to say a certain thing, waiting for your life to look a certain way before you allow yourself to feel happy, you are playing a game you will never, ever win. Because conditions will never be permanently perfect. Life is a river. It moves, it shifts, it floods, it dries, and the person who ties their happiness to the stillness of that river will spend their entire life frustrated. The first truth you must engrave into your consciousness is this: happiness is a decision. It is made in the morning before the world gets a chance to vote on how your day should go. The moment your eyes open, before you check your phone, before you listen to the news, before you replay yesterday's problems, you have a sacred window of opportunity. In that window, you can choose the emotional direction of your entire day. Most people waste that window. They hand it to their worries. They hand it to their fears. They hand it to other people's opinions. But the truly exceptional human being, the one who seems to glow with energy and purpose no matter what is happening around them, that person uses that morning window like a weapon. Now here is something that will shake you if you let it sink in properly. Your thoughts are not just passing clouds in your mind, they are seeds. And whatever seeds you plant in the garden of your mind with consistency and emotion, those seeds grow. If you spend your days thinking about everything that is wrong, your mind becomes an expert at finding what is wrong. It starts scanning the world like a radar, looking for problems, looking for reasons to be miserable, looking for evidence that life is unfair. And it will find that evidence every single time, because the mind always finds what it is trained to look for. But the opposite is equally true and equally powerful. When you begin to think with intensity and repetition about the good that exists in your life, the mind shifts. It starts becoming a radar for opportunity, for beauty, for reasons to feel grateful, for evidence that life is actually working in your favor. This is not magical thinking. This is how the human brain actually functions. What you focus on expands. Not because the universe is doing something mysterious, but because your attention shapes your perception, and your perception shapes your entire experience of being alive. This brings us to something of extraordinary importance, the concept of having a definite chief aim. One of the greatest sources of unhappiness in human life is the absence of purpose. When a person does not know why they are here, when they have no clear goal pulling them forward, when each day looks exactly like the last with no sense of progress or direction, they drift. And drifting people are almost always unhappy people. They might smile on the surface, they might laugh at the right moments, But inside, there is an emptiness, a quiet, nagging feeling that something important is missing. That something is purpose. When you define with absolute clarity what you want your life to mean, when you choose a goal that is bigger than your comfort zone, something extraordinary happens. You wake up differently. There is a reason to move. There is a reason to push through the hard days. There is a reason to get back up when life knocks you down. Purpose is the fuel of genuine happiness. It is the difference between a person who merely exists and a person who truly lives. And the beautiful thing is, this purpose does not have to be grand or world-changing to count. It simply has to be yours. It has to light something up inside you. It has to make the morning feel worth meeting. Now I want to talk to you about something that people almost never connect to happiness, and that is the company you keep. The people you surround yourself with are not just companions. They are emotional architects. They are either building something inside you every single day, or they are quietly tearing something down. A person surrounded by complainers gradually becomes a complainer. A person surrounded by dreamers gradually becomes a dreamer. A person who spends their hours with bitter, defeated, closed-minded individuals will find that bitterness and defeat creeping into their own thinking without even realizing it is happening. This is not about judging other people or abandoning those who are struggling. It is about being intentional. It is about understanding that your emotional environment is just as important as your physical environment. You would not choose to live in a house filled with toxic air and call it healthy living. You must apply the same wisdom to the invisible air you breathe, the conversations, the attitudes, the beliefs of those closest to you. Seek the people who challenge you to grow. Seek the people who believe in possibility. Seek the people who, when they are around, make you feel more alive, more motivated, more like the best version of yourself. That kind of human connection is one of the greatest sources of daily happiness available to any person on this earth. Let us speak now about gratitude, not as a concept you nod at politely, but as a daily practice that has the power to completely transform your inner world. Here is the shocking reality. Most people are sitting in the middle of a miracle and calling it ordinary. Clean water, a working body, a mind capable of thought, people who care about them. Moments of beauty that appear every single day without being asked. Sunsets that no human hand created. The sound of laughter. The warmth of sunlight on skin. These things are not small. They are extraordinary. But familiarity has made them invisible. Gratitude is the practice of making the invisible visible again. When you deliberately, consciously, specifically count what is good in your life, not in a vague, general way, but in a specific, detailed, emotionally engaged way, something shifts in your chemistry. The brain releases different signals, the body feels different, the world looks different. Gratitude is not a soft, passive emotion. It is a fierce, active, transformative force. And the people who practice it with discipline, not just on good days, but especially on hard days, those people develop a happiness that is not fragile. It is not dependent on perfect conditions. It is deep, rooted, and resilient. Now I must bring you to the most personal and perhaps most confrontational part of this conversation, the voice inside your head. That voice that speaks to you from the moment you wake up to the moment you close your eyes at night. That voice is more powerful than any external enemy you will ever face, because no enemy outside of you has 24-hour access to your mind. No outside force can whisper into your deepest beliefs the way that inner voice can. And for too many people, that inner voice has been allowed to run wild, unmonitored, undisciplined, full of self-doubt, self-criticism, and self-defeat. The practice of consciously directing what you say to yourself, of choosing your self-talk with the same intentionality that you would choose a business partner or a life partner. This practice is not optional if you are serious about happiness. What you say to yourself in the morning sets the tone. What you say to yourself in moments of failure determines whether you rise or stay down. What you say to yourself in moments of doubt determines whether you move forward or retreat. Begin to speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you deeply love and believe in. Begin to feed your mind with words of courage, possibility, strength, and worthiness. Do it every day. Do it with conviction. Do it even when it feels strange at first, because the mind does not immediately distinguish between what is deeply true and what is deeply practiced. With enough repetition, the practice becomes the truth. And finally, because no conversation about happiness is complete without this, you must learn the art of living fully in the present moment. The past is a closed room. You cannot go back inside it and rearrange the furniture. The future is an unwritten book. You can influence it, but you cannot live in it today. The only real, living, breathing moment you ever actually have is right now, this second, this breath. And yet most human beings are almost never here. They are mentally living in their regrets or mentally living in their anxieties. They are carrying the weight of yesterday and the fear of tomorrow simultaneously. And they wonder why today feels so heavy. Happiness lives in the present tense. It is not waiting for you in the future when things are better. It is available right now in the appreciation of this moment, in the full engagement with whatever is directly in front of you. The ability to be completely present, to give yourself entirely to the task, the conversation, the experience at hand, is one of the rarest and most beautiful human skills. And it is a skill, which means it can be developed, it can be practiced, it can be grown stronger every single day through conscious effort and deliberate attention. Here is what I want you to carry with you from everything we have explored together today. Happiness is not a lucky accident that happens to some people and skips others. It is not reserved for those with perfect lives, perfect circumstances, or perfect histories. It is a craft. It is a discipline. It is a set of daily choices made with consistency, courage, and absolute intentionality. Decide every morning before the world gets its vote. Guard your thoughts like the treasure they are. Give your life a purpose large enough to pull you through the hard days. Choose your circle with wisdom and care. Practice gratitude as if your joy depends on it, because it does. Speak to yourself with the same fierce belief that you would speak to someone who has an extraordinary future ahead of them, because you do. And come back again and again to the only moment where life is actually happening, which is right now, right here, in this breath, in this choice, in this beautiful, unrepeatable second of being alive. Happiness is not something you find. It is something you build, brick by brick, thought by thought, choice by choice, day by day. And you have everything you need to start building it right now.